Democrats want to spend $20 million on a study just to prove the obvious. Trump destroyed them. Struggling Democrats proposed $20 million study on how to reach young male voters lost to President Trump. Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan. Democrat strategists are struggling to come to terms with President Donald Trump's decisive rightward shift of the electorate in last year's election that saw him win the popular vote and all 7 swing states in a historic victory. The New York Times published the first installment of a deep dive into Democrats' efforts to figure out and correct what went wrong in an election the report described as, quote, a defeat that felt like both a political and cultural rejection. Among the Democrats' problems is how to reach young men lost to President Trump. Reporter Shane G. reported on a proposed $20 million study that would, quote, study the syntax language attractive to young men, like an anthropological study. Here's an excerpt from the New York Times. For now, Democratic donors and strategists have been gathering at luxury hotels to discuss how to win back working-class voters, commissioning new projects that can read like anthropological studies of people from faraway places. The prospect for one new $20 million effort obtained by the Times aims to reverse the erosion of Democrat support among young men, especially online. It is codenamed SAM, short for Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, and promises investment to study the syntax, language, and context that gains attention and virality in these spaces. It recommends buying advertisements in video games, among other things. Above all, we must shift from a moralizing tone, it urges. In a separate article, the reporter reported on President Trump moving the electorate to the right. Here's another excerpt. All told, Mr. Trump has increased the Republican Party's share of the presidential vote in each election he's been on the ballot in close to half the counties in America, 1,433 in all, according to an analysis by the New York Times. It is a staggering political achievement, especially considering that Mr. Trump was defeated in the second of those 3 races in 2020. Well, we know it was rigged. By contrast, Democrats have steadily expanded their vote share in those 3 elections in only 57 of the nation's 3,100 plus counties. These counties, which we are calling triple trending, offer a unique and invaluable window into how America has realigned and still is realigning in the Trump era. The scale of Mr. Trump's expanding support is striking. While roughly 8.1 million Americans of voting age live in triple trending Democrat counties, about 42.7 million live in Republican ones. Even more ominous for the Democrats are the demographic and economic characteristics of these counties. The party's sparse areas of growth are concentrated almost exclusively in America's wealthiest and most educated pockets. New York Times reporter Teddy S. reported on Democrats spending big money to, quote, find the next Joe Rogan.
According to a new report, Democrats are reportedly planning to get tens of millions of dollars from donors to find their, quote, liberal Joe Rogan. And according to the same report, there's even a spreadsheet with 26 active proposals related to online creators to get it done.
Well, here's what Democrats seriously have miscalculated, is the very people that at one point in time in their lives may have actually been on their side or considered being on their side have flocked and have ran the hell away from them as far as possible. Why? Because they're beyond radical. They're beyond violent. They're beyond anti-American. They are authoritarian. They're tyrants. They want to destroy our liberties. They want to steal our freedoms. They want to crush everything that makes us American. So by default, you're going to lose Americans. I think this also points to how Democrats think they can just throw money at something and synthetically create and back engineer a new leftist Joe Rogan to compete. That's not how it works. That's just propaganda. Cancer, acne rosacea, multiple sclerosis, and rheumatoid arthritis are 4 different diseases in 4 different areas of medicine. What if they can all be treated with parasite medication, and that turns out for these diseases to be true? What if I told you that if you had a pet or ate sushi, you are more likely to have parasites? This means that a lot of our ailments that we experience every day are caused not by environmental issues, but by parasites as well. This is something Big Pharma does not want you to know about. I know many of us check off many of these boxes. This is why Purge is offering their new liver cleanse products for all of you out there that need to clear those toxins out once and for all. PurgeStore.com offers everything you need to cleanse and detox your body. Powerful enzymes and probiotics, 15-day colon cleanse protocols, liver cleanse, and of course, the Parasite Cleanse. Right now, if you go to PurgeStore.com and use promo code DREW, that's DREW, you will get 20% off your entire order. Use the link in the description below, PurgeStore.com, and support the Gateway Pundit today. The Gateway Pundit is supported by the people, we the people, that is you, the American people. We thank you for your support. Speaking of propagandists, former FBI Director James Comey issues a nasty threat to MAGA Nation days after Trump assassination post. Shameless former FBI Director James Comey is now threatening the patriotic supporters of President Trump days after posting a photo on social media calling for the president's assassination. On Saturday, Comey spoke with former Biden press secretary Jen Psaki on her MSNBC show that nobody watches to discuss the sick post.
I know Republicans these days aren't big in thinking about principle or precedent. They're going to be deeply sorry that that disappears, because someday there will be a Democratic president and there'll be investigations of Republican office holders. If I'm them, I sure would want these career people in place, making sure that it's done in the right way.
James Comey is telling you directly to your face what's coming in the future. When a Democrat tyrannical regime returns to power, they're coming after everybody. All of us. So now, while President Trump is in the White House during the Trump era, now is the time to go after these deep state criminals and all of the crimes they've commit. Speaking of criminal enablers, New York Governor Kathy Hochul complains Republican spending bill could cut services to members of the undocumented community. New York's Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul recently gave an interview to Telemundo in which she complained about the new Republican spending bill, claiming that it could adversely affect, quote, members of the undocumented community.
As I said, no state will be able to make up those kind of cuts. We just don't have enough money. And so people are going to be losing their health care. They're going to be losing care that we provide for members of the undocumented community. I signed into law that we would take care of people over age 65 and people that have a new baby, moms for the first year, because I thought it was the right thing to do, to take care of members of our undocumented community as well. They cut all that money. They cut any assistance that we can provide for them.
Could we see something like we have seen in California, where the governor had to cut services to some immigrants?
I don't want to go there. I mean, this is money that's now been lost by the federal government. They used to help us pay for this. This is something we have to look at very seriously, for how we cannot leave these people without essential care.
Well, of course, she's going to be concerned with the illegal alien community. Those are their voters. Well, speaking of the future of the Democrat Party, foul-mouthed DEI rep Jasmine Crockett claims she will investigate Trump and his family if Democrats take back the House next year. Democrat DEI rep Jasmine Crockett said she hopes to lead the House Oversight Committee if the Democrats take back the House in next year's midterms. Far-left MSNBC teed up Crockett and asked her if the Democrats will investigate Trump if they take back the House and or the Senate in 2026. Of course they will.
Do you think they're going to push for investigations into Trump's family and the whole crypto acquisitions that he is getting?
Well, Alex, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, so long as we end up taking the House, which I fully anticipate that we will do, and we are going to work hard to obviously help our Senate colleagues as well, then as someone who serves on the Oversight Committee and hopes to lead the Oversight Committee, I can guarantee you that we will do what we are supposed to do as constitutionally sworn members of the House, which means that we will conduct oversight. That means that we will investigate. We will look at whether or not this president himself has violated violated the emoluments clause as it relates to say such things as getting a $400 million plane from the Qataris. We also will make sure that we're looking into all these business deals that they have going on. I mean, think about it this way, Alex, they were going after Hunter because he sat on a board. Think about how much money they are raking in, whether we're talking about the next golf resort that they're setting up in Qatar, or whether we're talking about them leveling Gaza, as they've talked about, and talked about how it would be great beachfront property, whether we're talking about this crypto scam, the scam that people didn't even want to walk into and show their faces. Let me tell you, there is no shortage of things for us to dig into and determine whether or not there have been not only violations of the law, but definitely violations of our Constitution as a whole.
It's about to get ghetto, y'all. But seriously, just like James Comey said, when Democrats return to power, they're coming for everybody. They will retaliate aggressively, and they're willing to pull the trigger without any hesitation. So we need to see some arrests and see them fast before it's too late. My name is Drew Hernandez for the Gateway Pundit, and you have been on Watch with Drew Hernandez. I'll see you guys on the next one.